We are officially live and in action. I'm going to share my screen because I opened up a couple of new documents for you all. All right. So can you see my screen there?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So I know that some of these had been up before, but I wanted to just clarify as we turn in our concept demonstration speech number one, what the review of that is going to look like. Because now you had that whole week on the discussion board where you were giving feedback, not just you, but everybody in the class was giving feedback on these awesome Hollywood stars, Cuba Gooding Jr. and Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, Gordon Ramsay. I had to throw Gordon in there. And then also Gordon gives feedback. In our next unit, we'll be watching him give feedback to Master Chef finalists. And so it'll be interesting now to kind of see how developed and nuanced we can get with giving and feedback. So under Unit 2 major assignments, if you click onto the My DIY concept demonstration, and this right now, this is only live in one class, just so I can demonstrate. And later on this afternoon, it will be live in all the classes. And so if you're not seeing that on your screen, don't panic. It'll come up tonight. So just on this section, it's just a quick little note. Post your DIY concept demonstration speech here for review. Yes, you're submitting it twice. You're submitting it once for me on the assignment link, and then you'll submit it to this discussion board so that everyone can see it. If you were to just submit it to the discussion board, then my feedback basically will go out to everybody, and that's not really what I want when I give you feedback. And so we'll have a more personalized feedback on the assignment link, and then this is for everyone to take a look at. And feel free, it's a discussion board, feel free to comment on your peers, but also you don't have to, because you're going to be choosing 2 people from your discussion board to actually give feedback on. So just scroll and roll, and then once you've kind of found some folks you think, hey, I might actually want to talk about them or their speech, critiques the speech, not the speaker, right? Then you can go to the DIY peer review discussion board, and I added the actual rubric. So it's there for you to download and to actually take a look at. And I give you a little outline here of just the check mark and some places where you can add some commentary. And I also provide an example there so that you see what goes into that box. There are no right or wrongs to what goes into the box. It's simply kind of a rubric just to help you kind of categorically think about what you could talk about in your peer review. So let me go ahead and close this one down and pull up the Word document that I have so that we can all see this together. So it's the basic concept demonstration reviews. Overall goal is to help us to figure out this pop-it method. Now we went from one pop-it method, one main point, to multiple pop-its for multiple main points. Now, how do we give feedback to these multiple kind of main points? When you visit the peer review discussion board, you'll scroll through the posted speakers. You're going to select 2 speakers to actually give feedback on. Watch their videos, complete the rubric that we'll talk about in a moment, and then use that to help you figure out how to give a 3 to 5 minute video review that compares and contrasts both speeches. And I'm going to go back to critique the speech, not the speaker, so that nobody feels interpersonally attacked, but we actually focus on the content and the performance of, y'all get what I'm saying there. So use the rubric to help you kind of figure that out. And then the goal of this is to help you internalize the pop-it method and internalize the organizational patterns. Both as a speaker, you know how to apply it, and then also as a reviewer, you know how to see it and analyze it so you can give feedback on how to strengthen that, if you will. And then finally, once you're done with that, post it up to the peer review discussion board where speakers can go and see your feedback. So the goal is you have 2 speakers that you're giving feedback and you're growing in your analysis of others, but then also they get to actually watch your review and say, oh snap, I didn't even realize that I was doing that. Thanks for pointing that out. And then next time their speeches should improve. Ideally, if everybody goes back and reviews their speech, which I hope they do. So So just know that 3 to 5 minutes goes by really quickly when you have two speakers that you're reviewing. But I did this intentionally because next unit you're going to be talking about comparative advantage. So you'll compare two different things. So this is kind of a testing, a pre-test, if you will, of what comparative advantage would look like and work like when we move into persuasion. So they're extemporaneous, they're conversational, keep them candid and constructive. They don't have to be overly professional and like rigid, but fun to watch, organized, and put on display that you understand how to have structure as you give constructive feedback. The more specific you are with the tips, the easier it's going to be to help somebody improve in their weak spots. So those are my little notes to you all on the overall guidelines. Let's take a look at what the rubric actually looks like. It's funny, I should have put this at the bottom of the rubric, but at the top here, it just says on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, how would you score the overall performance of the speaker? And I highlight here the overall performance of the speaker. So all things taken into consideration, where would you kind of put them on there? Out of 10 points, nobody should receive like a 0 or a 1 on this. Like nobody is going to be that bad. I've been watching your discussion boards. I've been watching your stuff. Y'all are entertaining. I really like watching the videos. So nobody should be over here on the 1. Think about this in terms of letter grades. The 10 being like A, top-notch, superior, excellent work. That's fabulous. And then for every 1 point, it kind of drops down a little bit. Like that was really good. Like way better than half the people that I would have watched would be like kind of the 9 or the 8. And then if they're getting the points, but they're not so smooth with it, maybe the 6 or the 7 gives them that kind of C average, like, you know, kind of range. But I don't imagine with where everyone is at that people are going to be in this 1, 2, and 3 area. Just putting that out there as we give positive, constructive feedback to our friends here. Organizational patterns. This is where you're looking for, did they use time as their organizational structure with chronological order? Did they put their main points into topics or themes? Did they use space or location as a way to kind of organize their ideas? Or did they do a step-by-step sequence? And these are, the explanation of each one of these is located in the Speech Making as Design video if you need a more visual kind of aid to help you figure that out. But you should be able to hear, okay, they're taking me on a timeline here. Or, oh, clearly this is a step-by-step of how to put together like your own desk, right? So it should be clear to you what method that they're actually using. And if it's not clear to you and you're kind of like, I don't really know, put it in the comments. Like it kind of sounded like it could have been topical, but then you were kind of like talking about locations and that could be clearer. And then we know where we can improve structurally as speakers moving forward. Poppet method, you all are pretty clear and masters of the Poppet method by now, but I did break it down here, and then you could check mark whether or not they met each section, and we know what's the main section. We know what this is, so then I put some examples. Did they have a clear purpose? Example, explain events at the Oceanside Public Library. Awesome. Did they have an opinion or explanation of why they're talking about this? Yes, there are free and exciting things that are happening at the Oceanside Public Library. Okay, well, what proof do you have? And then bullet point it. So for me, if I was listening to this speech, I would have heard the speaker say books, movies, and audiobooks are available. Free snacks for students under 18 at this time period. And I'm specific with it so that when I give feedback, I can refer to this and say, I thought it was really nice how substantive your examples were. For instance, you told us when the free snacks were and what age they actually served. You also told us when you can go and get a study buddy and what time like we can expect to be there. So the more specific and detailed you are with your notes, the more specific and detailed you can be in the feedback that you give out. So that's on the proof section. Hey, Lynn. And then the impact, just the example here, most people don't know about, you know, these things. It's great for free entertainment. And then did they transition? And so this is an example of what the notes during, for a Poppet during a speech might look like. And the first main point, I just put explanations of what each section is. And then I gave you an example there. And then I left the third main point kind of blank in case you wanted to try and like just fill it out for yourself. Visually, verbally, and vocally, we've been working on the performative elements, just thinking about what's written on the page and how we say that. We've been thinking about what we look like when we actually say that. We've also been thinking about how to vary our vocalization so it doesn't sound like monotone or we're listening to the same thing over and over. So as observers and as audience members, these are three things that automatically we use to filter information. So what did you see? Did you see a nice background? Did you see a great smile? Did they look directly on the camera? Did they keep averting their eyes to the manuscript? Did it look like their focus was all over the place? Jot a couple of notes down. You don't have to have complete sentences. Remember, these are just notes to use for when you do your peer review session, your peer review speech. Under the what I heard section, so after what I saw, think about what you heard. Was the sound quality pretty good on their audio? Did each sentence sound different with a lot of vocal variation and it was fun to kind of listen to? Did you like when they laughed at themselves? Did they have a dog in the background that kept barking and was like, all of those things could be really relevant. Also, what did you feel? Because we not only think about things with our brain and cognitively, but we also filter things with our heart and with our emotions and our feelings. And so tap into that. Did it make you feel like it was really easy to listen to? Did it really make you want to listen more? Did you feel like you could actually apply the steps for the recipe and you had all the ingredients available? Did you want to watch another episode? So those are some examples that I put as what you could have felt or what I might have felt when I was reviewing the speech. And then just any additional notes here. So I put 2 positive things that you can say about the speech and then 1 area or thing about the speech that could be improved. And so I always want to give positive feedback to our peers. My positive feedback was, hey, it looked like you had lots of charisma and personality. It was clear that you knew what you wanted to say, when you wanted to say it, and how you wanted it to sound. Excellent details about why things were important. Those were specific things. And then maybe something specific that they could improve on, maybe review each step at the end of the speech. And that would really help to remind the audience members what they needed to do when applying your demonstration. So this rubric here, which is the peer review, concept demonstration peer review rubric, is now uploaded on the discussion board. So let me go back to the Canvas. So the DIY peer review discussion board, again, this might not be live in your particular session yet, but by the end of the day it will be. And so keep an eye out for this. You do have a deadline from midnight tonight for the DIY concept demonstration speeches. And so just try to take a peek at it as you submit it later on this evening. It shouldn't be too bad. Okay, so that's there for you. It gives you the instructions at the beginning. Here, the breakdown of kind of how you should be. I know, Lynn, you can't barely see this because I have it here. Let me pull up the Word document. There we go. It has the guidelines here of how to choose your speakers, where you can find them. And then it also has the peer review rubric with explanations and examples. So it gives you each part and kind of tells you what goes into the section for the comments if you're going to take notes, which I highly recommend. And then gives you examples of what kind of notes could potentially be in these sections. And then I also provide a blank one that you can download and print out as you see fit. So that's the major kind of thing that's coming up for next week. And next week also you have your second concept demonstration speech, but we talked about that last week. And so this week we're doing the, do it yourself. I can't wait till y'all tell me all kind of new things that I could do. And then next week we have the second set. What is next week's one? All right. Finish the discussion boards. The what's in this space. That one's going to be fun too. Spatial order is a lot of fun. And so I'm looking forward to seeing kind of what I always say recipes, but what demonstrations you all come up with. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of recipes. I'm a chef, so I'm probably going to try some of these recipes. And one of the 1-minute documentaries that I watched, Elizabeth Cohen made a Meyer-tini. And so I will be making a Meyer-tini for my birthday in March. So That's what I wanted to make sure that we talked about. I'm sorry that I had to push the date back, but I'm glad I'm seeing new faces too. So Lynn, I'm so glad you can join us this morning. Did you all have any questions out there? Is there anything that I can kind of touch bases on just to make sure we all are on the same page? No? Okay, awesome. All right. Well, I guess then I will leave it at that so we don't make the video recorded session overly lengthy, because I do want people to go back and watch the recorded sessions if they will. So just to wrap up here, I added to major assignments under Unit 2, a My DIY concept demonstration. Hi, Anna. A My DIY concept demonstration link for the discussion board. So you have an assignment link, which is what you all have been working on with the instructions. You'll submit this to me tonight. This one comes directly to me. No one else actually sees it. Okay, so this is the one that I will actually grade and give you feedback on, where my feedback will come from. That's due tonight at midnight. But I added another board that's a class discussion board. And so I also want you to post your concept demonstration speech here. And that way everybody knows where to find everybody else's peer review speech, where everybody knows where everybody's speech is so they can actually peer review them. Okay, so you'll actually post it twice. Yeah, I know, once for me and then once for your peers. And then under the DIY peer review discussion board, you have the rubric. So this is all the guidelines and information about what you should be thinking about and how to give feedback on 2 of your classmates. And so I'm going to ask you to choose two classmates and then compare their speeches. And that should be, it's pretty broken down, pretty in depth in this lovely little chart here. So, yeah. All right. Lynn, I'm going to unmute you. Hi.
Hi, so the review for the peers, are we able to pick 2 of the same topics, or do you want?
I think that's great. No, it doesn't have to be different topics, just 2 different speakers. Okay. And so if you have 2 different topics, that's great, because then you can compare and contrast maybe 2 of the things they did, you know, in the speech that was similar, or what was different about them. So that kind of gives you a little bit of room to figure out what you're going to talk about in your main points when you give the review. So
okay.
that I think that would be awesome.
Okay, know? Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Good question. All right. It's so funny. We were actually just wrapping in when you joined us. And so I asked, you know, was there any questions that you might have, like about what's going on so far, or anything I might be able to clarify? I kind of have an open 10 minutes to kind of talk to you guys. I think Khadijah stepped out because her video left. So Anna, no? Let me unmute you. Sorry.
You guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Good morning. I'm glad there's new faces here.
I'm actually about to ask what you just discussed. The peer review, I was a little confused.
Yes.
To clarify everything.
Yes.
What does that do?
Good question. Tonight you have a deadline for the concept demonstration speech. Yes. And then as soon as you submit that, just post yours to the DIY board. So then, you know, you don't have to worry about it. Plus, the earlier you post it to the discussion board for everyone, the sooner other people can start working on their reviews. Does that make sense? Yes. The review is not due for another week. And so you won't have to do it. The review part's not due until next Thursday at midnight. But what my fear is that somebody's going to be kind of like, oh, snap, I forgot to put the review up. And then it's Thursday, 10 o'clock, and they post their review speech up. But midnight is the deadline for, you know. So as soon as you post tonight and submit the assignment to me, just go ahead and post it on the review board. And then we have a week as a class to kind of review each other's speeches.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I am getting a little static on my end. And so I'm like, is that me? Is that me? All right. Yeah, so that, and I did kind of hold off and forward that information to myself for a little while because I didn't want anybody posting to that board too soon. And so I hope that, if I think one person posted to the boards, I hope they just go back and see that now there's instructions for what to do on that board. But I did that on purpose. And so I hope that wasn't too confusing to you all. Next week also, as you guys turn in the last set of information, last concept demonstration speech, and then your reviews, I'll have the next set of videos and resources for persuasion that comes out. And so that will come out next Thursday as well. And I guess my question to you all is, we had a big chunk of information at the beginning of the unit. Was that useful to have all the resources released at the same time and then just the deadlines that came up? Or did you like the kind of every week, just a little bit of information at a time? I'm thinking about my own, what would be best for you all?
Say it's better to have all at once.
Mm-hmm.
So that way you get ahead with everything.
Okay. That's I feel the same way, that, the chunkier the unit is and the resources at the front, that gives people lots of time and no excuses. My back end though on the email is that I've been getting a lot of email and I'm like, are you watching videos? Should I just do it one at a time or so? Okay. I'll just keep giving you chunks of information and then you all will work it out. But just thought I'd ask you all that question since I have you here. So, okay.
And I also have a question. Like, I noticed when you posted on there, I couldn't find the last live Zoom, so I had to keep going through the board and try to see where it's at. Is there a way that you can make it where we can visually see the
Yes. So
stuff?
under I think two things. One, I think I'm missing one of the live sessions. I know it's up on YouTube, but I don't think it's posted. So last week when I posted it, there was just not under major assignments. It'll just be under the resources. And then I just reposted it to the link that was already there, but I'll make sure that I highlight that a little bit more for you all and then send a message out when it's actually available for you. And what the next unit has is just a page that says, this is what's going on during the live session. So this is what we'll talk about. And then you can expect that that'll be the same page where I'll just post the link. So you'll know where that page is.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Awesome. Good. I really do love the feedback. Technology is awesome. I'm in love with it, but it's also very frustrating because if something's not working, like ARC wasn't working perfectly for me. I was uploading videos and it was not working on your end, but I couldn't tell that because it was working on my end. And so I like that you guys are emailing me and actually telling me the information, and so don't feel as if like you're complaining or anything like that. Like, it helps me to navigate all the technology. So, and I don't want y'all panicking on your end. It's hard when you don't have a face-to-face teacher who can actually see you to say, I'm going through something, I don't know what's going on. I'm like, I know, you send me emails like at 10 o'clock at night, I know. So I'm with you all on that, so. Okay, so I will post this to the live session week 6 and send out a little notice later today when that is live for you all. But other than that, the information, I went ahead and broke all the information on the review board and how to do the review during this video. So the first 10 or 15 minutes would be really useful just to go back and kind of review on your own. So thanks, ladies. I'm glad I didn't have to give a speech to myself this morning. I'll see you next time.
Next time. Thank you. Take care.
You too.